committee was looking for a keynote speaker, we really struggled. We Googled and, we went on YouTube and we asked people and we kept bringing up different examples of people who might be a good keynote speaker, and none of them were quite right. And then we stumbled across a TEDx talk. And it was Sean giving a talk a couple years ago, I think. It was a while ago in Rochester, right? Yeah, he's from Rochester, New York. And we all went, oh, yeah, that's our guy. That's him. He's inspiring. Poor guy. See? That's why he's our guy. Because he's...
Got me? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, go. Thanks,
so that is why he's our
guy.
guy.
I'll get your number later.
No further introduction really needed. He's inspiring. He's fun. He uses art and culture to pull people in and to really make neighborhoods better and stronger and safer. And he does it in a positive and fun way. And we feel like we've gained a friend here in Fort Wayne. And we couldn't be more thrilled to have you here, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you. What a way to start a discussion. All right, how's everyone doing this afternoon? Woo! All right, awesome. I see, as you can tell there, I've got an image of a paint stick there. This is one of my travels painting in Brazil. It's pretty cool when you get your name on a paint stick. But I want to tell you a bit about myself and what I'm here to actually address is a lot of times people want to get things started in their communities, and sometimes they feel like there are obstacles. Maybe there are people in the way. That's usually number one. Maybe there are finances in the way. Usually that's number one. So I'm gonna tell you some of my travels and things that I've done to actually try and overcome some of those obstacles and ways to actually bring people and community together in new and different ways that they might not have ever actually thought about doing. So I will forewarn you that I may start running or jumping around because I get really nervous and excited. So if I leave the stage, please, you don't have to turn your neck and break your neck to follow me. Please, just watch the screen, all right? I'm not that good looking anyway. So let me start off with a little bit about myself. So, I grew up, as everyone does. That's nothing that's unnatural. I grew up in Rochester, New York, and, single parent family, and art was sort of my vice and my connection to how I actually get things done. It was really my safety zone to create, and I always wanted to be a superhero. I always wanted to be a superhero and actually, save people and save lives. And one of my favorite superheroes was Spider-Man. One quick note: I'll get sidetracked too, so you may have to tell me, bring it back, Sean, bring it back. One experience I was doing, I was 5 years old. I love Spider-Man, so most of you remember cassette tapes, right? Yeah. Some folks. Okay, so I had a cassette tape case, the case, And I would go through the house and take the spiders that were dead, and I'd save them in this case, right? No, true story. And my mother had her sewing kit, so I went and got a sewing needle from out of there. And I found, in my basement, we had like all this junk down there, so I found an old cord to a fan. Cut that sucker. It took forever using little child safety scissors. So I'm going to, I've got it, the little wire sticking out the end. I'm ready to be a radioactive Spider-Man. So I go to plug it in. Just in there, my mom's like, boy, are you crazy? What's wrong with you? You liable to kill yourself. And that was my dreams of being a superhero flushed down the toilet that day. But later on in life, I, keep going on through life. I'll tell you, brief, keep it brief so I can get to my point of what I'm talking about. Got kicked out of 2 high schools, was teenage parent, 3 kids by the time I'm 20, broke, no money, part of a social service network, and I had to go to a meeting with one of my caseworkers, and they're like, I want to be an artist and create artwork and change the world. That's not going to work, my friend. That doesn't work out that way. You just can't do that. I didn't know. I thought, yeah, there's other people that do it. I watch Bob Ross on channel, on public television. He's probably making money, and they show people in galleries, and they're all, sipping their wine, and they're making a lot of money for $1 million paintings. I said, why the hell can't I? Well, you keep going through life. You work here, you work there, you do all the things you do. You take a couple of courses here and there at your community college. And then I started really getting into the fine art, as I mentioned, the gallery work and various other things. And I got into assemblages. I started picking up trash and piecing it together and turning it into other objects. And some of the stories that I would tell with these objects were dealing with African Americans here in America and our triumphs and our struggles throughout the 400 plus years of being here and shaping and building this damn country. And I was showing in galleries, I was giving talks, and everybody's like, oh yeah, we love your work. It's all this stuff. I won't even get into the titles of some of the stuff because some people would get mad and want to be mad at me and stuff. But I was addressing, I felt cool because I'm like, yeah, I'm the art guy. I'm the artist. That's right, I am. How you doing? Name's Sean. I'm an artist. Nice to meet you as well. But one day I had my, some of you may know this or may not know this, but I had a Dave Chappelle moment. Now, for those of you who don't know about a Dave Chappelle moment, Dave Chappelle, it's a comedian. You guys know about? Yeah. Dave Chappelle was doing one of his skits, the good angel, bad angel, in blackface, and one of his crew members, everyone was laughing, they thought it was funny, and one of his crew members, he said, he laughed, but he laughed in a way that I never, ever heard anyone laugh before, and he said, I knew I was doing something wrong, so he stopped. I had my moment when addressing an audience that looked nothing like this, all Caucasian audience, and here I am talking about, the struggles of my people, the struggles in my neighborhood, and all they could do was just applaud and say, yeah, that's great, but they weren't going to do a damn thing to help me in my neighborhood. So I stopped doing the gallery work. What I decided to do is I'm going to go back to my neighborhood and start where I came from. I said, I want to be what I wanted to see when I was 15 years old. I want to be what I wanted to see when I was in that social service office and the guy told me I couldn't do what I'm doing today. So, oh, you ain't got to clap. No. So that's what brought me to this here. So I'm going to tell you some of my steps. And you can do a lot of these things. A lot of things can be done in your neighborhood that are really fairly cheap, and it can connect people to get things done. So, all right. So these are some of my crew that I had a few years ago. This is from the TED Talk you heard from. And so we had this mission, all right, to spread inspiring messages, okay? Most times in your city, everybody's advertising to you about a new play or a sofa or a car, but no one's ever telling you to feel good. Look at yourself. You're beautiful no matter who you are. So we said, let's take on this mission. So here's one of the signs there that they painted. It's on a piece of sheet metal there, and it says, ignite change, and there's this flame in the background. We did another one. It says, think big and act quickly. And we wanted to have some real simple ones as well. Pray. Just simple. Pray. And there are some that are even simpler. Floss. From someone who has had too many root canals in his life. I listen to people. So a dentist messaged me on Facebook, was like, hey, you should tell people to floss. And I said, oh my God, that is one of the most brilliant things you can tell someone to do is floss. It's very important. So we actually painted these signs and we put them in a central area around our public market where actually all walks of life in our city come to, whether you're black, white, no matter your social economic background. So we put these up, we're proud about these, and everybody's giving comments and saying, wow, we love these signs, they're awesome, they're beautiful. We're like, yeah, that's all great. So let me go back to this one right here in particular. This is what kicked it off. So we put this up, right? That's about, I think it's like 8 feet by 6 feet. We put this up, right? It's like, pray. Felt good. We come back the next day. Right? It's gone. Somebody done stole it. It ain't ripped up or nothing. Ain't thrown in a dumpster. It's just gone. Now I'm mad. I'm like, man, these mother stealing. I said, we're going back to the studio now and go paint another one. We're going to paint it bigger. And we did. Oh, yeah, we're going to get them. Put it up. Gone! But I'll tell you something. I learned something from that. I realized something. Now, all those signs actually were all taken. They were all taken. And there were more. But it taught me something. It taught me that people need encouragement. People need words. So if there's something they can take, I will let them take it. And I'll tell you how that goes into another project I did. That's a floss again. Oh, so I got mad and I said, well, we're taking it to the streets. They can't pull up the sidewalk. So one of our things was just to celebrate each quadrant of our city so that everyone would have that place where they could be like, yeah, this is my neighborhood, this is my spot. We went around we literally found corners in each part of the city, and we painted Monopoly board on the ground. Fairly inexpensive and cheap to do. There's a news crew out there. There's one of the kids working on it there. And what we would do is put the names of the street in the area where we were painting. So it connected to that neighborhood. So someone could stand there. This is kind of this is before Instagram and all that stuff. I wish we were doing it now. So folks would, kind of post it on Facebook and various other things like, oh yeah, you're repping my neighborhood, you're repping my street. And those are some of the areas there. With that, and that's one of the young men who worked with me, who is now a clothing designer as well. He said, he told me, recently he came to my studio and he's like, man, thank you for everything you taught me, man. I was a kid, I didn't understand, but I'm designing and creating these lines. He said, thank you, Mr. Dunwoody. I said, love you, son. Shining ring, bling! Okay, I just wanted to put that in there. So we kept with our mission of putting inspiring words throughout the community. This was at an intersection when people were coming in and out of, on Main Street, actually. So people would see this. And people told me, I would see this every day when coming home from work or going to work, and it really made me question my day and my evening. What is my purpose? And it really made me want to live a purposefully driven day or night. Then we started doing this. I found this material that I could bend. It's a plastic. And I realized if I put it up high enough, ain't nobody gonna steal it. So we started putting love notes around the city, and they were Post-it notes. So those are actually three-dimensional and bend up in the air. And what we started, once again, when you listen and be engaged in the community and have them be part of it. I'm getting sidetracked now. A lot of times people like to paint, murals and portraits of people who were from the past, And we always have to celebrate our past because we won't know where we're going because they've charted that path for us. But sometimes you got to celebrate the local heroes that are in your neighborhood that most people don't know. Miss Jenkins that makes them cookies every week. You know what I mean? Billy that's mowing the lawn for neighbors in there. So that's what we set out to do. We walked the streets and said, hey, what do you want to say? We'll put it on the wall. This came from a woman in the neighborhood, Barbara Hoffman. She said, tell people, yeah, you're beautiful. Remember, you're beautiful. We said we will. Your words, your neighborhood, it should come from you. You should own this. Another plan of attack was going after corner stores, right? We all know corner stores are always advertising to us cigarettes, and I ain't knocking nobody who smokes, cigarettes and cold beer, lottery. I ain't knocking nobody who plays lotto or drinks beer. I do all of these things. I don't know. But I realized that usually these corner stores are across from bus stops. And for 15 minutes while you're standing there, you're being told that pretty much everything around you is about cold beer, cigarettes, and lottery. So we took to the corner stores and began putting positive messages on the wall. Things like, you can, believe in yourself. One, I don't have a photo of it. It's since been painted over. But one store we did was in a neighborhood that was hot. Some of y'all know what I mean when I say it was hot. Some of y'all don't know what I mean. When I say it's hot, what I mean is there was a lot of drug activity there. So we go up, I take my crew, and we get to painting, and we're going to say, believe in you. We're putting that on the wall. We started it out in brown, started painting out brown. It was cool. We ended the day. We left. And we come back the next day because we ran out of brown paint. So we started painting it blue. These cats walk up to us and like, you're painting that the wrong color, right? I'm like, oh, shit. Well, why are you saying that? Who knows? Yeah. It's like, this some blood territory, man. You don't roll up like that. I was like, man, but it's looking good though, right? We got the kids painting and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's good, man. Go ahead on. Woo! I was like, all right. But this is where it gets good. This is where I started realizing if we can use these messages, it works. This mother walks by with her 3 kids and this one little boy, and he says, Mommy, what does that say? And she says, believe in yourself. So now she was telling him something that was on the wall. And believe it or not, them same cats, a day or so later, they out there, making it, doing business transactions. Up there saying, here you go. They're making a business transaction and being like, yo, go ahead, Mookie, believe in yourself. You know you got it. I'm like, that's the power of place. Here's how am I doing on time? Because I know, am I good? Okay, please cut me off because I got a million dang on things. All right. So and once again, that's something that can be done in a neighborhood. That can actually be done by using something like even a poster board and putting messages on a piece of poster board or foam core, making it pretty, stick it in the store window. It's that simple. Most store owners are not going to be like, no, we don't want you to say anything good to anybody in the neighborhood. No. No one's going to do that. And it's simple, but it does help people. You will be surprised. I've realized that when I do something, it's not so much about what I'm doing or if the line is straight. It's about the afterlife of how people engage with it afterward. In doing your cities and doing your planning and everything else, I tend to tell people to think about something that you will never see. You have to plan for something you may never have in order to shape the future that you want. You have to design for children that are 1 year old right now. Wow, well, we on the church up in here. All right, so there was another project I was working on. This is the Fruit Belt Project, okay? Now I've been painting walls, murals, everything. Everybody, you're the painting guy, yeah. I'm no longer the artist, I'm the painting guy. And so I usually go to Philadelphia. So I went to Philly and I observed their Philly painting project. And what they did was they had 2 Dutch artists, Haas and Hans, who went to Germantown and they painted these buildings down in Germantown. And their point was they stayed there for 2 years, they lived in the neighborhood, and they hired people from the neighborhood to work for them. I said, this is amazing, this is good. I can do this, right? One thing I have, too, is a big mouth. I'm always going to say, yeah, I can do that, and I get myself in a heck of trouble. So I say to myself, I could do this. Now, with this project, I did have to seek funding to get this done. So, I smacked a good one there. So my mission was go into a neighborhood, try and rebrand it and beautify it, hire kids from the neighborhood. Because I always want to have youth involved in the process of making something so they have investment in their neighborhood and their community. A lot of times we don't give that initiative to young folks to actually do. I've seen a lot of places in towns and cities where they have people cleaning the street during the day. There are buckets picking things up. But it's usually kids that get out at 3 o'clock, and that's usually when the guys are done cleaning the street, and the kids are usually the ones throwing the paper chips and potato chip bags on the ground. So if you gave them the vests and the buckets and the scoopers, I guarantee you, if they're getting paid, I guarantee you they will pick it up. I don't see why we don't do that. So with this, I tackled Grape Street in Rochester, New York. J and Grape Street. This is near the corner of Orange. J and Grape in 2013 and 2014 was the 7th most dangerous neighborhood in America. Where we painted this, drug activity was so bad at the traffic light, when it stopped, they removed the traffic light. They took it out. Yeah. 2 buildings that were there. There was a store that is still there. It's a store, like a corner store right there. And across from that was a place, this building itself, was a place where they make soda. And they've been making soda in that building for 92 years. A couple of their generations old Italian guys. Lou is the main guy who runs it, and he talks like this. He got a real deep voice, so when I do this, that's why I'm imitating Lou. Looks like he's from The Sopranos or something. So what I do is I get out, I find some young people. I go to schools, I find young people who live in the area. I hire them on. I say, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go and walk these streets and talk to people and ask them what do they want to see how they want to be engaged. The reason why this is called the Fruit Belt Project is because the fruit street names, orange, grape, lime. So we decided to call it Fruit Belt Project, and a lot of cities do have fruit belt areas. So we go out and we start getting these things. We start getting input from people to say, yes, I will and I can. Now, problem with this was, I just told you that this neighborhood was considered the 7th most dangerous neighborhood in America. So first major obstacle was, all right, got these 2 huge buildings. We got to get people down here, but people are afraid to come down here. How do we do this? This is where I realized, started to understand that, sometimes you feel like the financial barrier is in the way, but if you can find friends, that can actually get you over your financial huddle. Gotta make friends. So I went out and I started talking to people, just drumming up so much support that I could. I was on news, I was on the radio saying, hey, we're going to have this big paint out. I want everybody to come to the Fruit Belt area because we're going to rebrand it, we're going to create it, we're going to show that our city is fantastic and we can work together to make something positive and make it happen. And everybody's like, woo, woo, and I'm still in the back of my mind like, no one's ever going to come here. How are we going to pull this off? From this, I got a call from Sherwin-Williams. They say to me, we do community connection points. For those of you who are trying to do things in your neighborhood and you need to get things painted, note to you, Sherwin-Williams does do that. They will give you all the paint and the supplies during their National Painting Week. So contact your local Sherwin-Williams and talk to them about that when you get a chance. They will give you all your brushes, your rollers, everything you need to get it done. So they reached out to me and said, we kind of like this project that you got going on. We'd like to help support it. I'm like, oh, yes, that is so great, because I sure didn't have enough money to buy paint, and I'm claiming I'm going to do something. But, God will answer. And so we get to it, and things are getting going. And I'm like, okay, we're going to get people out here. We're going to get people out here. So I had to make some friends. Day comes to paint. It is gray outside. It's a little drizzly. I'm like, oh, I didn't pull this off. No one's going to come. About 9:05, a group of people from Sherwin-Williams come around, and they come in their stuff. And one dude came with a bulletproof vest on. Can you believe that? I was like, dude, come on, man. It ain't that damn serious. And if it is, give it to me. And so they start rolling out. And then the sun begins to clear, and more people start coming. Cars start pulling up, and people start parking. And lo and behold, throughout that day, community people start coming out. I had about 300 people come out. Oh, this is another thing which happened there, but I'll tell you about that. That come out and help paint this. I gave them instruction. I called it organized confusion. I say, you do this over there, figure it out. I'm going over here. So I had all these folks painting 4 sides of 2 buildings, which then, once again, making friends. Food Link said, yeah, we'll come along because it's about, if we got to address food deserts and everything else and how to eat healthy, we'll come along and help support this project. That's actually my granddaughter right there. She was painting everything. I had her paint that whole wall herself. She better learn. So, and these are 2 of my assistants there. They were actually this young man. I wish I could point. Oh, I can blow it up because it's on my phone. This young man right there. He was not supposed to be. I was not supposed to hire him, but he was persistent. He kept Facebooking me, Twittering me, calling me. I don't know if he's throwing bricks at my house, but I said, boy, since you that hard up for the job, come on and get this job. That young man is stellar and became my #1 assistant. He is now actually in California painting. And he taught me that persistence will get you somewhere. So as you can tell, we got neighborhood kids out there. As you can tell, they're slapping paint on each other's face and stuff. That's one of the problems you give kids paint and ain't nobody watching them. Like, who watching these kids? It's supposed to be me. And everyone's engaged. We got happy, smiling faces, people volunteering. I reached out to our local soccer team. I said, bring that thing down here. Your stadium's right across the road. Come on and bring it down here. The back of the stadium's facing this neighborhood. Bring it out. So they came out, kicked the ball with the kids and stuff. Had the fire department come down. There I am, tipping out paint. I also told people, if you don't want to paint, go clean up the yard. Cut down some bushes around here so people feel safe and feel like they can walk up and down the street and see things. As you can see, they're clearing away brush. That's me. I don't know if I'm trying to hit that girl in the head with a stick or something. I don't know if she's a vampire. But as you can see, this is one of the areas where we got all these people wrapped around. There's a building across the street from it. And we asked the cops, I said, come over here and paint this wall. You should be out here too, next to your neighbors, the people that you're supposed to be help and serve and protect. Get out here and get some paint on your hands. And they say, yeah, sure, we'll do that. We even got a food truck down there. It had never happened before. This gentleman I reached out to him. He has a bar and he has that truck. That food truck right there. And he didn't have a way to, it's actually attached to his bar, and he didn't have a way to transport this vehicle. So he went and just bought a truck that day. He said, I just went and bought a truck so I can bring it over here because I believe in this. And it was the first time that the neighborhood actually had a food truck right there on the corner that people could actually come to and purchase food. Which put in my mind, that's the news and everything, put in my mind how you can actually shape a neighborhood beyond just the paint on a brush. And that's once again on the news. There's both of the two buildings there. That's them working right there. So I'm going to tell you, man, I want to get into so many things. So you see the pray right there, right? Once again, community input. This kid, Jose, was skateboarding by while we were painting. I said, hey! He spun around. I said, what would you say to this neighborhood if you could say something to him? I'd tell him to pray for the neighborhood. I said, all right, we're going to put that on. So we did put pray on there. Throughout this project, and all this stuff is still up, and throughout that time, we had no vandalism in this area until one day we came up to this pray and someone had actually wrote something on it. And it was Jose. He signed his name on it, so we kept it on it. Even though we did put his name next to it, he wanted his signature. So talk about a big mouth. So I'm in a community meeting in this J and Grape Street area, and I'm there, and I'm saying, the project, like, everybody loves it. It's good, it's good, it's good. But everyone's been talking about a garden. We'd like to have a garden here, and no one's really done it. I said, daggone it, I could do it. I don't know how to plant or grow a damn thing. What have I gotten myself into? I said, oh, well, we will figure it out. Because if you don't have knowledge, you still got some friends. So I'm going to go back to this other slide and show you what we were doing. Come on. So I reached out to another school. This is actually, I reached out to a private school because I did have a connection with the school that's right down the road from this. And I reached out to our zoo. And I reached out to a local landscaping company. And I said, hey, I got this thing, we're doing this stuff, and they had already seen it on the news, it's been in the newspaper and all that kind of stuff. Like, oh yeah, we'll come along and do that. So the students came down, we started digging holes, we got lumber donated, we got dirt donated, we got trees donated, but I thought, why? Why, if we were just talking earlier when I said food link and they're talking about food deserts and having healthy food, why would we have something that people don't have access to all the time? There's no need for people to be hungry. And if we're talking about fruit, what should we grow? That's what the hell we did. We planted apple trees, peach trees, and some berries down there, and pear trees. So that way, if you're ever hungry, you can go right over there to the Fruit Belt Project and get a pear off of there and eat it. There's no need for anyone to be hungry. Sorry, I'm whipping through my phone. All right. Hope nothing nasty pops up. Then that'd be bad. They're like, we went to this conference and we saw it. So once again, there's the folks, there's the dirt. They came with their knowledge. All I did was supply them with the space to do it in. They dumped all this soil. The city said, all right, we'll give you all the soil. We built this. We wanted to build an area where people could actually sit. And when I first proposed this to the neighborhood, they said, don't do it because it's just going to be a magnet for drugs. Okay. I said, we can solve this. By design, we can solve this. So what we put in that planter were berries. Anybody ever stood or sat next to a berry bush? Dropping all over the place, right? You done paid $300 for a pair of sneakers. You gonna be standing all over the berry juice? Nope. Nobody hangs out like that over there. the next door neighbor and the guy in the neighborhood walks his dog. He'll sit down every once in a while, but it did not turn into what people thought it would be. And I had to stick with it. I had to really stick with it and push forward and stick with it and say, no, let's trust this process. There it is once again. That's the guy. That's the neighbor right there sitting in the thing. So remember I told you about people stealing my doggone things we was putting out there? So made friends. Reached out to our Institute of Technology, Rochester I can't even talk anymore. And they have a letterpress class. So I reached out to the class, friend of mine. I said, hey, can we do a project together? He's like, yeah, that'd be cool. So his students actually created letterpress posters with positive sayings about the area. So it's also called Josana, so it says love is a place that is here, let there be love. And see all these other ones got Disney quotes? What we did was we stuck them up on the telephone poles so that people could take them. Each student did about 20, and we put them out there. And I also talked about working with the store, Wasim, who owned the store. They were working with that food link that I was showing you earlier to put fresh fruits and vegetables in the store. And so I reached out to another class at the Institute. Once again, use your colleges and universities. They are looking for things and projects to take care of, to take on. Please, reach out to them. They need you very, very more than you need them. Trust me. So a class made seeds, seed packets. So we made seed packets and we put them in the store for people to take so they can go and plant their own basil or tomatoes or whatever they want to. So yeah, a fruit belt project package. Now, working with the school that was down the road, having the students plant, I realized we have to do more. Oh God, we've got to do more. So we've made this fruit garden. We've painted these buildings. I said, we've got to have a way to sustain ourselves. And I'm sitting there talking to Lou one day. He's like, hey, you know what, Sean, you know what you can do? Why don't you make yourself there a fruit belt seltzer? I said, that's a brilliant idea. And we made a fruit belt seltzer. A beverage made for building. Woo! And we sold this, and part of the proceeds went back into the school to help so that they can come down and use that, the butterfly beltway that we worked with the zoo with on, and the students can actually do that because they were creating a green class at the school right down the road. So I realized that, that design and art could mean so much more than just the paint on the wall. It's about how we're thinking about developing and helping a neighborhood and bringing people together in many different ways. That's some of the stuff there. Good things don't come easy. That was from their dad. This is in Spanish, and I forgot what it says. Anybody here speak Spanish? Tell me what it is. Never mind, I don't want to hear it. Okay. Things like shine. We got more Post-it notes. This is us in the progress. There's that pray once again. Say I will. And this is right in front of a bus stop as well. Four-way intersection. There's pray. That's not the gentleman who said that, but I just thought it was a cool picture. All right. Just talking about community engagement. I love to get people involved, whether they're 8 or 88. And that's why I call it organized confusion. You give people little blocks and spaces, and they will get things done. You say, hey, you paint that purple, you paint that green, and make it happen. And it's a good way to get people involved in a project in their neighborhood, in particular young people. They want to have some activity or action in the neighborhood. They will come running with a paintbrush. Come on, let me do this, let me do that with you. They will be there. And you got to make sure you're giving that space. Oh, I just wanted to stick that in there. See, I told you to take them 8 days, or whether 18 months to whatever. That diaper is loaded. Everybody else see that? All right, let me just. And that was their final product. And it was words that came from the community. They wanted people to say, you are the change and growth. We are together. We are familia in the Triangle neighborhood. These are words that came from them. Part of what I do is I always try to get the input from the people who are there, because when I'm gone, but the neighborhood, the folks need to own it. As we talk about bettering it or looking at neighborhood connections, libraries. Everyone has a library, right? In most cases, there's sometimes the kids go and everything else. And so this is my segue into play. Okay. So the city came to me and said, all right, you're painting all this stuff around town. Help us out and paint something. And so they said, take this library, for instance. We want to create these playful entryways into the library. I said, okay. So I worked with a group of kids who attended the go to the library. We created a story, and from that story, we created a playful area. And this is what we made. And so it's intuitive play is what we created. So we didn't want to tell anybody, step here, move there. So if you look, this is all dedicated to, part of it is dedicated to Frederick Douglass. So that's a North Star pointing north, so you can walk that as a tightrope. The little circle things are, you can do, what's that thing called? Hopscotch in? Yeah. There's a little popcorn around there that you can leap to back and forth on. There's a little micro labyrinth, and there is a raceway that goes all the way around. It was all connected to the story. As you can see, there's kids jumping on it and having a good time on that there. I never noticed that lady's dress blowing up either. I just saw that. Let me move that quick. And he showed us another project where you can get community involved because everyone goes to the library, everyone needs it. This was another library. Once again, working with the group there that live in that area. We created a story. We wanted these sunflowers, these various other things happening on their entryway. We're complete with play. So we're out there painting. Everybody's out there that day. It's hot. Everybody's having a good time. See, you can give anybody a chance. Sometimes it's not, as I said before, it's not about if my lines are straight, if the image looks exact or perfect, but it's about the experience. This young man may not ever remember my name or anything else, but when he passes by this, he'll remember the experience of being engaged in his community, which is important. And when it's all said and done, we get to this. So all that there, like that popcorn is, I'll tell you a story about the popcorn. But I'm painting this corn, and this teacher says, why don't you put some popcorn on that corn? I was like, I guess so, because I'm always trying to listen to people, right? And I said, I don't know why. He's like, well, because some kids don't know where popcorn comes from. I was like, what? I was like, this man, he tripping. I paint the popcorn in. The next day, I paint that popcorn in. That same minute I'm painting that last kernel, kid walks by and says, why is there popcorn on there? And his sister or whoever was leading him on said, because that's where it's from. It comes from corn. He's like, oh. I was like, wow, what a teachable. This guy was right. So we're using this to teach people, too. There's some Foursquare on there. This is it from another angle. And that's it from an aerial view, so you can actually get the scale of what this looks like when you get, and this is when you get people to come and paint and be engaged. They will come out to be a part of it. As you can, here's the young lady. It's a hidden hopscotch. You just see the outline, not telling you 1, 2, or 3. You just find it. Oh, this is something I did. I don't know why I put that in there. That's a whole other thing I did. Friends of mine created the Super City. Quick note, if you've ever been to Comic-Cons and various other things like that, it's always indoors. What we said is, no, we want to take it outside because not everybody's going to pay $50 to go see a cutout of Spider-Man or Superman. We're going to put Superman on the street because everybody deserves a damn hero. All right. Talk about obstacles. All right, this is Composer's Crossing, okay? Sometimes when you're trying to get something done, people, you have an institution that's like, This is what we had. We had our music school right here in this photograph. I'm not over, am I? No, I'm good. Okay, music school in this photograph. A second to Juilliard. We say, we want to paint just piano keys across the road there, the main street. Oh, and they're like, oh, wait, no, we don't know. Well, what about maintenance? And how long is that going to last? And what's going Damn it, you don't own the street. No, we don't know. Okay, all right. So my partner on this project, he had written an article about it, and we had already had some funding to get it going, and more people started to chip in once they realized that they were our obstacle of actually getting it done. All we needed them to say, it's okay if we put barricades in front of the sidewalk on a Sunday morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. And it took weeks to get them to do that. So moving forward, this is a community project as well. So I put the call out. I said, hey, folks, anybody, anywhere, come on and help me paint this piano crosswalk across the street. It's going to be great. I had no clue what the hell I was doing. That's me and a tape measure in my hand trying to run in the street I got 14 seconds before traffic starts moving and tries to hit me. But it happened. One sunny day, everyone came out. They started painting the crosswalk. They started painting the keys. I made a stencil so that people could just do it. And I, once again, organized confusion. I gave them the stencil. I gave them the paint. I said, you figure it out. Go ahead. Do it. But people do. When you let people alone, when you leave people alone to do what they need to do and figure it out, you know what they start to do? They talk to each other. I don't want them to come to me. The whole point is that you have a conversation with each other. Don't keep coming running, Mister, what color this is? You figure it out. I tell people all the time, if you're working on a project with me, and if you've painted this one area for at least more than an hour, and you say to me, I think this should be purple and not green, I will say, do it, make it purple, because you have invested time and you've seen what this can be, so I believe in you. Leave people alone and they will grow, and let people work together and they will talk. So they figured it out, they figured it out. How are they going to get these things on the ground? There they are figuring out the lines, the other keys. Here's a collage of folks, they were taping it down. I was just nowhere around. This little kid, talk about friends. So we're here across from this school of music. A friend calls up that day and says, hey, you want some music out there? So they send in a high school jazz band. So we got jazz, live jazz, playing outside while people are painting. I was like, all right, this is sweet. I love it. So you can tell, and it was actually during what we have as our jazz festival. So our jazz festival was going on at this time, but it wasn't, no activity was happening during the morning. So that's me giving a thumbs up like, yay, it's working out, it's doing amazing. And that's me like, I don't know what the hell we're doing. I don't know what. I'm looking like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. But I did not pick up one brush, but I let everyone run their own area of the piano keys, and it worked out smooth until we ended up with this. Now, and you will find out when you stick to your idea, all right? You got to stick to it. You got to stay stuck to it. You got to you're stirring up people and you stick to it. That people will change when you stick to it because you done stirred something up in them. So that same institution that was the minute they saw this, were like, yeah, we really thought it was great. Yeah, we're going to put a picture of that in our brochure. Well, we're going to Instagram the hell out of that. So realize when you stick to an idea, you're going to have some headway current you got to go through. But in the end, those institutions will turn toward your direction. Lastly, I want to talk about play walk as we talk about another play element. So to design this, it's a corridor along one of our streets downtown. And so I said, well, if we're going to design this, once again, we've got to work with the folks who are going to use it and who are here. So I need young people to design this. And that's what we had. There were about 16, 17-year-olds who were part of the library. And one thing a lot of times, young people do want to be engaged in things, but they do want to have incentives. And some simple incentives that you can give are gift cards. We got, maybe, I don't know, maybe like $200 worth of, $25 and $10 gift cards to Walmart. It was like gold when you hand those. Like, give me that, give me that, give me that. I was like, dang, this is kind of like gold. $25 to go to Walmart. I think I want one of those. But it helps, and it also helps them in life for the things that they need to take care of, deodorants, whatever it may be. It's actually a good thing to give them instead of just giving them, candy or something like that. So they went to designing, but before they could design, they had to learn how to play. I want you to play again. So we went to our Museum of Play. They had a chance to explore, jump around, and take photographs and feel what it's like this is the tippy room. What play feels like as an adult, since sometimes we forget what play is like when we grow up. We forget what it's like to skip and to jump and to hop and to flip. I just got a cramp. Shouldn't have did that. I've been painting a mural these last couple of days right down the road. And so I worked with them on screen printing and give them another avenue of learning and education. They made their own shirts, called themselves the Community Changer. And we went at it. They went out and interviewed people to get input. Then we sat at the table and put together our ideas. Dun, 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 dun. What do we want here? What do we want there? Dun, 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 dun. What they really wanted was inspirational quotes They wanted to inspire people because they said it's very depressing walking around downtown. And we all know how that can be in certain downtowns in America. And they wanted it to be interesting and fun and something to play with. Okay, see, they said, make me happy. That's really what I want to be. I want to be happy. One of our obstacles in making a happy thing was dealing with this concrete monster. The park is now named Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park. And we had to deal with this concrete beast that was just like a blue. I just sit here and I'm just gray and dark. And I suck your life. So we went back to the drawing board, talked about let's have bright colors, let's have those quotes once again. We want something that's inviting. We want people to feel like they're superstars and be special superstars. And so we took our painting day, once again, finding friends in Sherwin-Williams. We took our painting day, started painting things out. Here it is, paint. They came out. Here we're going to paint. Once again, I gave them something. I said, I want it to look like this. I'm giving you this. You figure it out. And they did. Pouring paint. Yep, you pour the paint. That's over there. You do this. You do that. And they started to lay the stuff in. They're using long extension poles. These guys got creative. I was like, man, you guys are doing things I didn't even think about doing. They were painting with extension poles. They were doing all kinds of stuff. And that's the first time they ever actually done that. People were really involved. This young man painting the circle on the ground, his dad had read about it or saw it somewhere that I was out painting, so his dad brought him and said, can he paint something? I said, sure, he can paint the circles that we have on the ground. That would be fantastic. Later on, I saw him while I was doing Super City, and he was like, can I take a picture with you? His dad said, you're his favorite artist. We had people out painting benches. Simple things. It's just color. They were the barn red benches. It's something simple. No one thinks of it, but it draws your eye. As we were working, people were like, hey, I noticed this area because of the benches. Before it was barn red and just a big concrete slab. So we keep painting. Those are my grandkids, by the way. So we keep painting, and it starts to take shape. Till we get to this. We wanted it, once again, we're sticking to the inspirational quotes. You know, if you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. If you can't crawl, whatever you do, just keep moving forward. That is a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King. This got slipped in there. This shouldn't be in there. But I was surprised to see this, and I'll explain to you why. I know why that's in there. Okay. So, I'm out of order in my head. So you guys still have these on the street. I just took a picture of them. I was like, wow, you guys still have newspaper boxes. So we wanted to figure out a way, not that's a bad thing, that's a good thing. We wanted to figure out a way to distribute books downtown. Also, how to distribute art supplies. Also, some of the medical folks in town were actually discussing ways to distribute things of safe items for people's health that they can have. Also, some churches were actually talking about, care packages, putting toilet paper in these things. Every free library doesn't have to have books. It can actually supply something for the neighborhood when they're in need. But sometimes they build the little libraries and they're wood or whatever, and they really can't take that weight and hold up and all those kinds of things. So I was like, wait a minute. I don't read the newspaper anymore, so I know we can use one of these things. Lo and behold, I did. We got these old USA Today things that were supposed to look like a TV set back in the day. I said, give me those things. And what we did was took a little paint and got a little goofy because we got to have a little play with this. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. So here's what we did on that concrete monster. We took those quotes once again. That is a MLK quote. I can't read it from here. I need some glasses. I don't have it. Only in the darkness can you see the stars. And then we threw a little Biggie quote in there. It was all a dream. Had to connect that, and there's a bit of the North Star up there because that's where Frederick Douglass spent 25 years of his life, is in Rochester, New York, and considered it his home. And here I wanted to connect those quotes between great movers. So agitate, agitate, agitate. Frederick Douglass, Susan B. Anthony. Organize, agitate, and educate. Both Rochesterians. And freedom only comes through persistent revolt, through persistent agitation, through persistently rising up against the system of evil. Dr. Martin Luther King. And that was the connect that he went to our Colgate School of Ministry, and that's where he became the doctor in Rochester, New York. We also wanted to add this. Be the peace you wish to see in the world. And we added a little curved mirror because the kids said, hey, put one of those funny, goofy mirrors outside. So I was like, where are we going to put it? I was like, let's stick it on the building. All right, that makes sense. And we find the right sort of image and put MLK in there. And here's just the biking crew. They were having a photo shoot and having a good time. I just thought they were just so happy. And these are kids interacting with the mirror, having a fun time with it. Oh, there's also musical instruments out there as well. We installed, the kids said musical instruments. We thought we were going to do, we wanted to do drums. We thought drums, everybody likes drums. Kids like, nah, drums are stupid. He's like, you ever see it? At the playground, they hit it 2 times and they walk away from it. I was like, you're right. Don't nobody be playing with them drums. But these little chimes here, they do play with those little xylophone thingies. And people do play with those. And that's what we did with those newspaper boxes. Simple. Google-ize. Google-ize it. Simple. Anyone could do this. Kindergartners can get anybody engaged to make that happen. Now they're in your neighborhood, and it's happened. And there it is in the wild. We noticed the red-eyed speckle in the wild. And so you can see this is how it all plays out in the scheme of things. We also installed a Connect 4 that you can play next to a bus stop and put these benches in there to actually connect all those things. There it is, the wild speckle once again. And that's actually the full play. And so we actually did, this is sort of our sheet, which we all did all those things. Got our mirror, got our musical instruments, and we got a foosball table outside. It's open for anyone to play, and you just put a quarter in the little gumball foosball machine, and you can play foosball outside. We wanted people to be engaged that way so that we can really stick to things and keep it going. So I have one action item for you audience members, okay? I hope I've given you some insight. I've also said a few things, but a lot of times you gotta stir things up, and you gotta stick to it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'll be painting. That's why you got these stir sticks. So I want you to do. Don't be starting nothing till I tell it. Don't wait. Now slow down. You're gonna hit somebody in the head. Now, what I would like you to do is I want you to be able to take this with you. I know it may say another store or whatever, but find the blank side. And what I have done with this is I write down the one idea, the concept, or the thing that I really want to get accomplished in my neighborhood or with someone else's neighborhood, and I literally sit that on the ledge in my studio, or I'll sit it in my kitchen, or I'll sit it next to the toilet, because we all sit in there, right? Unless you're upside down, I don't know. We all sitting there. And that keeps me stirred. It keeps me going. It keeps me stirred up. So I know I got to stick to that mission and get it done. Just like when I said I was going to do a garden and I knew nothing about it, it stirred something up in me. I had to stick to it to get it done. And that's really what I want you to be able to do, is to be able to, now we can do it together, ladies and gentlemen. Stir it up. Come on, stir it up. Stir it up. Come on, get it. Don't get lazy. You can move your arm. Stir it up and stick to it. Up. Ready? We got to do what? And... Whoa! I love you guys. Have a great afternoon.